What is going on, everybody? Crazy Ranger here at Extreme Console Mods. Today we are gonna go over how to tear down your Xbox One controller. Got a lot of people asking me about that lately, so for sake of time, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Start with your outside edge, and that's gonna pop off these back panels here, real nice for you. They pull straight off. They're a little bit difficult. You're not really gonna break anything, so just go ahead and pop those off. They come off nice and easy. Pop your battery pack off. Then you're going to take your T8 security Torx bit. You're going to remove 5 screws. One here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. There, now that we have all the screws loosened, we'll just take our back panel, lift straight up, and voila. Go ahead and flip that over if you want to pull your screws out if you're replacing the shell. Make sure you get a 5 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're good to go. Now the next thing is you just pull your faceplate right off. Nice, no problems, nice and easy. Now don't just go throwing your back panel out yet. You're going to need something off of that a little bit later. What we're going to do next is we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to pull off this top trim. We're going to start with our bumpers first. The way we're going to do that is we're going to start underneath it here. We're going to lift off of the post. This is a 2-post system. We're just going to come back over here, lift up that side, and then come right off. Always start with the back first. So you're going to remove that post back here. Then you come back over here and pull the top one off. Be careful, sometimes they do like to fly, but besides that, they're usually not too hard. Now, with your top middle trim, what we're going to do here is we're actually going to lift right from the top, push the home button in, and it's going to come right off nice and easy for us. Your sync button is located right here. That's actually free flowing, it just kind of sits in a little spot there, so be very, very careful. Don't want to lose that piece. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove our trigger housings using our T6 screwdriver. It's not a security Torx bit, so we don't have to worry about that. You'll be able to pick up a T6 at any local hardware store or Home Depot or Lowe's. Now, all the screws in here are important. You know, don't go losing them. One thing I will tell you, if you do wind up losing one, the odds are it's going to be attached to your trigger magnet. These are magnets right here, so you know if you're missing a screw, go ahead and look there first. That's where it's probably going to be. I've done that myself a couple of times. Yep, just like that, popped right over to it. So we have those 2 screws in the trigger housing, and this is the best way to get to those. We want to remove these first as well, because what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead. Do you see the 2 triggers there? This is where your rumble motors sit for your triggers. We're going to go ahead and we're going to lead that right on out. We're going to lift up one side of the tape, and it's going to come right out. Now make sure you leave your tape here so you don't lose it. It just sticks right back down, no big deal. Same thing over on the other side. Lift that out. Now with the left side, it's a little bit different because you have your D-pad to mess with. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from the top and we're going to push down towards the bottom of the controller, and that's going to allow us to literally lift this portion right up. With a little bit of tension, comes right off. And that will allow your D-pad to remove, allowing the wire to be released for the rumble pad to the trigger. So now what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and we're going to unscrew the 2 screws that hold on this bottom electrical circuit board. There's going to be 2 of them right behind your rumble motors, your big rumble motors. It's going to be right next to the solder points for those, as a matter of fact. Now, in case you're having some problems grabbing a hold of some of these screws, I do like to use a fine tip, or even just any pair of tweezers usually works, but I prefer my needle tip tweezers. They just get in there and grab really, really well. So what's going to happen now is we're actually going to be able to release this circuit board by pressing on our analog stick and our plastic housing. Notice I'm using this area here. I'm not trying to pry in between this area like most people normally would. And we're going to pop that right up. Now the reason why we use the analog stick is because simply there are two plugs, one here and one here. They're on either end of the analog stick. You can see the two little black areas right here. That's going to plug this board into the other board. Now, as you see, this board will actually flip right over, and you don't need to unsolder any of your rumble motors or anything of that nature. There's going to be 6 screws on this next board, and that's going to allow us to remove our buttons and replace that with some new custom buttons. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to pull these out here. Now in doing so, you know, be careful when you're putting pressure on the buttons and you release this chipboard. It's going to force those buttons to kind of pop out a little bit. If you're not that worried about it, don't worry about it too much. But if you're working with a small area, I highly recommend that you utilize some tape, something of that nature, to keep those buttons in place a little bit better for you. That way they don't fall out. But there you have it, guys. That is exactly how you completely tear down your Xbox One controller, screw by screw, board by board. We're going to go ahead and remove our contact pad, and that's going to allow us to drop all the buttons out. Now if you don't have a good area to work with, just use your hand and dump them right into your hand. That's going to keep you from losing them, having a lot of big problems that you might not be prepared for. But I hope this video helps, guys. Have a great day, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start up a how to put together an Xbox One video. Like, subscribe, comment below. Feel free to ask any questions, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.